Born and bred in Tuscaloosa, not raised in Baton Rouge. Didn't ride no wagon train to Norman or to Boone. They said I'd never make it, just a name they overlook. Now I'm burning up their game plans and ripping up their books. No 5-star shine, no silver spoon. I came up grinding on a Friday night moons. Now they feel me coming like a 4th down blitz. Got 'em talking sideways, throwing fits. But I must admit, I can't quit. 'Cause I'm the outlaw of college football. Ain't no strides.
It's another episode of the Outlaw of College Football, where we are the home of the Common Joe and the Common Sally in the know, even more so than all those media talking heads. And we'll lay down for nobody, and that's why we got demonetized for resharing Charlie Kirk videos. But we are taking donations now through Cash App, money $ JPC316s. You'll see in the bottom scroll right down here. And let's go ahead and give a huge shout out to those that donated to the program this past month. And they are as follows. They are Calvin Glover, who donated 3 times. Richard Burton donated twice. Nick Hodgins, Tim Gillespie, Fred Bagley, Ryan Thibodeau, Reed Strickland, Tara Burkhalter, and Lewis Coleman. I appreciate the hell out of all those donations, as it helps keep the lights on and proves that censorship just ain't going to happen anymore. Now, getting right to it here. Looks like it might be just a small, maybe a little bit bigger now, chance that John Mateer may actually make it back for the Texas game. Maybe not, but just the mere thought of it, I think, has ruined some Texas people's orgasmatic feeling that they were having the past week or so. Because Michael Hawkins had the full week off to sort of, get first team reps, and now he'll play Kent State and then sort of bring him into the mix a little slowly and get his feet wet, which is not really a good thing for Texas, but they would still prefer it be Michael Hawkins. But I've got an article here that's saying that there may be a modicum of a chance that John Mateer may actually make it back for the Texas game, which, like I said, is not going to make them wet their diapers in a good way. Let's check it out real quick. And here it is. Oklahoma quarterback. This comes from Sooners Illustrated, Sports Illustrated's branch of Oklahoma News. Oklahoma quarterback John Mateer plans to push the limits with rehab to return after hand surgery. Brent Venables provided an update Monday evening. John Mateer is already chomping at the bit to get back on the field less than a week after he underwent surgery on his right thumb, so much so that Oklahoma's coaches had to rein in the team's quarterback. He's out there stretching with guys from the very beginning, said Coach Venables. And during his weekly coach radio show Monday evening, he's a guy you got to pull back. He's going to push the limits on everything when it comes to his rehab and getting back. It says Mateer underwent surgery on his throwing hand last Wednesday in Los Angeles after sustaining an injury in the first quarter of Oklahoma's 24-17 win against Auburn to open SEC play. Now, I'm going to stop it right there for a second to give a little bit of a thought. Auburn been whining for the past 2 weeks about how they got screwed and how Oklahoma's basically, I guess, ruined their season because now they lost to Texas A&M. They're probably going to blame y'all for that too, for losing to the all-male cheerleaders. But here's a little something for you, Auburn. Y'all let a man with a busted up hand complete 16 out of 17 passes to end the game. And he rushed for one that actually put the nail in the coffin. What's y'all's excuse for that? I understand you don't like the trick play and how that played out and how that might have been a little shady to you. But what's your excuse for getting beat by a guy who had his hand basically handicapped from the first quarter on? This ain't like something he done in the third or fourth quarter. He done this at the very beginning of the game, and y'all got beat by a bum hand. There's no excuse for you, Auburn. The Barn Monkeys are losing their bowels. Just to let y'all know. I'm here in the state of Alabama, and I can smell it all the way from I can smell all the way up here in Tuscaloosa. All right, it says here whether Material can make it back for that game. Hold up, let's go back for a second. He says he will miss the Kent State game. That's obvious. But there's hope within the program that Material could potentially return for next week's Red River rivalry against Texas. So there's hope within the program. They may not come out and say it, but there's hope within the program. He might be playing in that game, and Texas may lose that orgasmatic feeling quite profusely. It says whether Material can make it back for that game. A potential top 10 matchup at the Cotton Bowl remains to be seen, but the Sooners starting quarterback is certainly eager to get back on the field post-surgery. Venables had to remind him that he's not going to defy the odds when it comes to recovery time. Brent Venables says, in some ways, there's protocol, at least for the intro here, the beginning. You got to let those things heal and that kind of thing, Venables says. He'll be good as soon as somebody can come back. He'll be one of those guys that was like, he broke the record, if you will. What this tells me here about Brent Venables is that he's a solid human being, in that, yeah, Material may be able to play against Texas, but if there's any doubt that it might be a risk to this young man's career in any way, Brent Venables is not going to put him out there. Brent Venables is going to make him realize that he is the adult, the much older adult in this situation, because Material's an adult too. But he is the coach. He is the leader of this organization. It's called the Oklahoma Sooners. And to lead as a leader, you've got to make tough decisions that maybe are not going to benefit you, but are going to benefit the actual player and the organization. It says, despite sustaining the injury early against Auburn, Material played the entire game against the Tigers. He completed 24 of 36 passes at 66.7%. Against your defense, Auburn, with a bum hand, for 271 yards and a touchdown while rushing for another 29 yards and a go-ahead touchdown with 4:54 remaining. After an uneven start to the game, Material completed 16 of his final 17 passes, I said earlier, including the final 11 of the evening to lead Oklahoma to an SEC opening win at Owen Field. So, this was way after the injury when he started lighting your ass up like a Christmas tree on Christmas Eve. So before I get to the conclusion of this and give my final thoughts on what's about to happen here, I'd like to ask you guys once again to go ahead and, if you can, donate to the channel through Cash App. We can no longer receive donations through YouTube, at least till December 14th. There's a money $sign JPC316 at the bottom. I'm also on Venmo under JPC316 as well. If you want to make a small donation to the program and help us keep the lights on and curb this censorship, it'd be highly, highly appreciated. Now, in conclusion here, Texas, it looks like there may be a chance that Material comes out of that tunnel like a hero coming to save the day. You better hope that doesn't happen, because if that does happen, it may be a long, long day for you. But even if Material doesn't materialize in this game, Michael Hawkins had a whole week to get first-team reps. Michael Hawkins will have another whole week to get his feet wet in an actual live game against a much inferior opponent to get the kinks out. And from what a lot of people are saying, like my boy Killer Breeze was telling me, a lot of people are saying that he looked really good in spring ball. And last year, it's hard to judge Michael Hawkins by last year, considering he was a true freshman that was just thrown into the fire. In conclusion, Texas, you might be in a lot of trouble. And that's all I got to say about that. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. As I said before, you can donate to the Cash App if you want to help the program monetarily. KMCA to all the other teams. Class is now officially dismissed.